Okay, so as I talked about in the other video, there are really two things that are going to be going on for Unit 4. On a day-by-day basis, we're going to be just doing small assignments to cover the content and make sure that you're solid there. Ask any questions as you have them. And then the last thing that we're going to be doing for this unit is a summative assessment that covers all of the information in Unit 4 and allows you to show me what you've learned other than in a test. So let's take a quick peek at what Unit 4 looks like. We are looking at homeostasis. It's maintaining a stable internal environment, and exactly what does that look like? So when we break it up by section, 4.1 is all about how the body maintains homeostasis, what that actually means. Then we look at membranes, which are the thin films that cover all cells. So we're going to look at the structure of membranes because being able to maintain homeostasis means getting stuff into and out of cells through the membrane. Passive transport and active transport make up the last half of the unit, and we'll get more into that at a later date. So all of that is in your textbook, and if you've got any questions about that, just let me know. And so if you go into Schoology, there are two documents that I want you to download that are from the Unit 4 Summative Assessment Assignment. That's right. Okay. The first is the actual PDF document, and then the other one is a Pages document. And so I'm going to kind of flip back and forth between the two of them. PDF on your left. Oh, my picture is backwards, but that's okay. So the PDF over here and the Pages document here. So what this document is, the PDF is a description of exactly what I'm looking for, rubrics for each idea. And then I've given you a template so that rather than starting from scratch, you're able to at least have something to start going off of for the assignment itself. Okay, so let's take a look back at the summative assessment PDF. What you'll notice is that there's this table here. And what this is a list of all of the different assignments that correspond to chapter 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4. And what I'm going to be asking that you do is do one assignment from each column. That's 15 points per topic, 60 points total. And so you'll see right here, like for example, the one pager, that covers two different topics, homeostasis and membranes. There's another one pager that covers two topics, the passive and active transport. So you can pick and choose what you want. You can do a little bit here, a little bit there. If you want to do like the creative story, that covers all four. So then you just have the one assignment to do that's going to cover all four topics. If you decide you want to maybe make a quiz for chapters 4.1 and 4.3, but then you want to do a mind map for 4.2, and like any combination that you want to do is fine. Again, directions here are select one box from each of the columns. There we go. The expectation here is that this assignment is something that if we were in class, you would have about 2 to 3 days to work on. Now, if we're going through in the next 2 weeks and all of the material that we're doing for Unit 4 you're getting and you're like, all right, this is easy, we're good, then this is going to be a really easy assignment for you, and it'll probably just take about 2 hours to put all together. If you don't understand the content at all, you're going to be spending a significantly larger amount of time to be able to go through and get this assignment done. And it's the test for the unit, so you'll want to make sure that you're understanding it. 60 points for the information. There's also 5 points just for written conventions, or written expression and conventions. In other words, submitting it like it should be submitted. I'm going to want everything packaged together into a single PDF document, not a Word document, not a link to a Google Doc, not a JPEG. I want all of the stuff compiled into one PDF document, which is part of the reason that your assignment for the FID day was just to be able to put stuff together into a PDF, okay? Also, the expectation is always that the work you submit is your own, but that is going to be particularly important when we are doing distance learning, because it's even that much easier to copy what others have done. So I will be using a plagiarism checker, but I know you guys want to do your best. So I'm proud of you that that becomes kind of a thing in the back of my mind instead of something like, oh, I'm really worried about this. Make sure that as you're using vocabulary, you're using it correctly, that you're enhancing whatever assignments that you're doing and showing me that you understand it. And then obviously the writing that you do should be high school caliber. I shouldn't see really stupid spelling errors all throughout of it. So, you know, good grammar and stuff like what I just slipped out. Anyway, so this document right here gives all of the information as to what your different assignment options are, and all of them are hyperlinked to the particular page with that rubric. So let's go ahead and take a look at Make a Quiz. Oh, I forgot to do this. So remember how I was saying that I want it all packaged into a single document? To make it a little bit easier, I've made a template for you on Pages. This doesn't have to be what you use if you decide you want to do it on Google Docs or even on paper or something else and compile it. As long as it's submitted as a PDF, that's fine. But I also want a cover page that has a list of the assignments you did. So you can print this out or copy this as an image and put it as the cover page for your document. But if you do it in the Pages, then all you need to do is kind of move these green circles to be like, I did the creative story, or I did, you know, whatever part it is. Again, it just makes it a little bit easier for me when I go to grade these. Okay, so in terms of the quiz, what I'm looking for is that you are making a quiz for any particular topic, or you could do multiple and combine them into a single quiz, so long as you have 6 multiple choice, 4 fill in the blank, or matching questions, 2 short answers for each section. So if you wanted to make all 4 of these and just do a really, really big test as one single thing, that's fine. You can do that. Really focus on making sure that whatever questions you're asking would be a reasonable question, meaning not so hard that you need to have completed your dissertation to answer it correctly, but also not just straight up definitions, question answer, that kind of thing. Like, you know, give it a proper challenge. So I have a template for you here. Again, you don't have to use this. It does just make it a little bit easier for me to grade and hopefully for you to get started. Your answer key can be a completely separate document if you prefer. Not separate, it should be in the same PDF, but it can go after the quiz itself or as you're going through question by question. You can just put the answer afterwards. So either is fine. For the short answer, if you decide to do this, make sure that you're giving me the answer key. So what answers could be given that would be appropriate. You know, just make sure that's all there. Okay. Moving on, if you decide to do the mind map, odds are you're probably not going to do it in Pages, so you can just include a screenshot. To do that, that is Command-Shift-4, and then you can kind of drag over the section that you want. So if you do it online, give me a screenshot and the link. That way I can go in and like open the connections that you have or, you know, see more detail. And then if you just do it on paper, same thing as you did for your FID day assignment for the first day, which was to do it on paper, take a picture, get it as a PDF, and then put it into the document. Okay, if you do the research paper, now I want to take a second and talk about this. The first part of the research paper is 15 points. So are all the other ones. The first part's going to be the biggest chunk. So the idea here is you're finding a disease or condition that's affecting how well the body is able to maintain homeostasis. But as you're researching, you're probably going to find quite a few areas where maybe it's talking about membranes, or maybe it's talking about passive transport or active transport. So that research, you've already done the bulk of it for the 4.1 assignment. If you can find ways to pull in information from 4.2 or 3 or 4, then you can have that one assignment count in multiple categories. So let's say, for example, you're doing one on a disease that affects how well your body, how well the individual cells can move, let's say calcium into or out of the cells, and it has to do with passive transport. Well, if you then just extend your paper a little bit, you can count that for both topics. So if you're going to do the research paper, you have to do it under the homeostasis one, the 4.1, but then beyond that, those are the extensions. So here's what you need for 4.1. And then on the next page are all of those different extensions. And now we're just looking at about 100 to 150 words, so much less cumbersome as the first one. So theoretically, you could have, what did I say here? 250, 3, 4, 500, like 600 words count as your entire assignment. So keep that in mind. Anyway, make sure you're integrating ideas together. Don't have the 4.1 information as its own piece of information, and then you have like this random other paragraph that kind of addresses the stuff from another chapter. Like, try to make it cohesive. Okay. If you do the extensions, let me know what topics you consider your paper having covered. Okay, there is a one-pager. Oops, there we go. And just like we did at the beginning of the ecology unit, the idea here is really to take all of this information from a lot of different places and pop them into one visually pleasing page. It has to be on an 8.5 by 11, either as a piece of paper, or you can choose to do it on Keynote or Pages. A word about that, it's I want all of the images to be your original composition, so they would have to be using only images that you could have found in Pages or Keynote, and then you would have to assemble them in a way that shows that you understand the answers to these questions. So you can do it on 4.1 and 2, or 4.3 and 4, or both, or neither. In any case, you'll just want to make sure that you upload an image of it into your PDF document so that when it gets submitted, it's one nice little package for me. And then the last option is a creative story that is between 500 to 600 words. You can go a little bit longer depending on how into it you want to get. But really what you're trying to do is tell me the story of, Polly, the individual little cell. Give him a name, whatever you want to do to be creative, but you're going to tell me how that one individual cell works as part of a multicellular organism to both maintain homeostasis for itself, but also to be able to help all the other cells in the body. Alternatively, you can make an analogy like we did right before leaving for this little break, which is that of a single home within a town. And unfortunately, it's a little bit close to home right now, but that town's in quarantine, right? All of the different things, all of the different homes are isolated from one another and yet still have to get material within them. So if you want to extend that unicellular or one cell within a multicellular organism and make that into an analogy of a home within a town, however you want to approach that would be fine, so long as you're addressing these 5 concepts right here. If they're addressed in a creative way, boom, nice easy points going for this one. So the other assignment option is if you are just sitting around thinking, or as you're reading something comes to mind that you're like, oh, this would be perfect for that project, let me know, and odds are I'll probably say yes to it. So just let me know what topic it would cover. Do your proposal at least 2 days in advance so that I can give you the yay or nay for it. But remember, each section is worth 15 points. So if you combine multiple topics within one, then obviously there's a lot more points available for it. Whew, I just talked a lot. My throat's turning to crap. So on that note, take care. If you've got questions, let me know. You can put it up in the Unger FAQ or email me and I will try to get back to you ASAP. Okay, take care.